talking to South Shore, Rick Federici and Brian Brophy. We just had my good buddy Keith Harris. Dude, you have got stuff everywhere, all over. I'm coming down 421 from the radio ranch, and there are Keith Harris signs like everywhere.
Well, isn't that what it's all about?
Absolutely. Talk to me a little bit since you're here, and I'm saying equal time for all candidates today. Keith Harris for LaPorte County Clerk as he hangs out today at Garwood Pickett Farm. We're in Pinola. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself in case they don't know.
Yeah, well, I'm, like Rich, like you said, my name's Keith Harris. I am the Republican candidate this year for LaPorte County Clerk. I own a computer business, have for the past 10 years. You know that. I just work for you every now and again. And, I want to take that experience as well as my other work experience that I've had over the past 30 years and put that to work for the voters, for the citizens of LaPorte County in the position of clerk. And
So let me ask you a question now. I know that I chatted with you earlier on in the week, and you're always running around to pancake breakfast and chili cook-off type.
Who isn't?
Now, what did you do this morning? I heard
we call it the all-county Republican breakfast. There's a number of clubs around the county, Republican clubs, and each club has their own, individual time that they have a breakfast every year. It is in October they have an all-county, and that's what we had in Wanata together. I had about the gathering of about 90 to 100 Republicans down there, and had a good time, and heard some good words from Luke Bucket, our candidate for congressional candidate, and from all the candidates. Most of the candidates were there. It was just a good time.
Good. So you guys are hanging out today. Maybe you're going to run around, do some apple picking.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll probably go down to the store and I'm already picked.
You know what? That's what Curie was saying to a lot of the audience, Craig. Today is, if you don't want to come here, just come by and say hi because it's free to get in.
Right. It doesn't cost you anything. They just ask you to please pay for what you pick.
Yep.
And if you don't want to pick it, you can run down to their store, which they have a full line of produce there, and pick up nice stuff fresh out of their fields.
We saw stuff like black raspberries, strawberries, red raspberries, apples, pumpkins, all kinds of delectables like peaches and tomatoes and sweet corn. And
you know what? You can't forget Garwoods donuts.
Oh, my gosh. Everybody talks about it. I have one.
And we're here. When we leave you, we're gonna head down and we're gonna get some apples and some pumpkins, of course, but we can't leave without the donuts.
I'm all about that. Well, listen, I appreciate you stopping by. Folks are going to be thinking about how to vote. In your opinion on the whole economic front, Craig and I do our Wall Street Journal reports. We have our CBS Market Watch updates. Locally, it's a little bit crazy what's going on in LaPorte and Porter and Lake County and Northwest Indiana, basically everywhere, Chicagoland proper. Talk to me a little bit about your feeling about how we're going. Do you think this bailout is going to help out? And I don't want to put you on a hot seat here, but what's your thought?
My personal opinion is I was not for the bailout. I don't know. I hear varying stories. I talk to brokers and such, and they say, well, without the bailout, we still would have been someplace that we don't want to be. Well, I don't know. I mean, people can say. I mean, I hear varying degrees of what may or may not happen, but $700 billion, and I just heard this morning that figure is actually more like 100 or 8. There's like another 105 billion onto that with all the pork.
Yes.
With all the pork. So we're looking at $800 billion.
And you're into the trillion, by the way, because if they would have signed it, now I know that there's a lot of people that did want it, but with them not signing it right away, that figure went from $700 billion, and then kind of with everything and how the dollar dropped and the euro and this and that, it kind of threw it into the trillion. Then it came back down, and so like you said, it's varying right now.
It's all that ridiculous pork that gets tacked onto everything. And, I guess we don't know what would have happened if they hadn't passed this bill. I understand it's not supposed to be a freebie, that, these companies are supposed to be giving things back, paying back these monies, but I just, I have a problem with it. It's taxpayer money, and, I have my own business. I mean, my business, if I make decisions and my business fails, who's going to bail out my business? And, no one is.
All right, so I see someone else walking in here right now.
Mr. Ken Layton, one of our good candidates for commissioner.
Ken Layton, let's talk to him real quick. Hi, Ken. How you doing, buddy?
How are you, sir?
I am doing fantastic. I was just going to say, I just saw you the other day. Isn't it gorgeous out here at Garwood today? Absolutely heavenly.
All I can say is welcome to my part of the county.
Yeah, absolutely. And I got to tell you, this is God's country, man, out here.
Yes, it is.
We have so many great families and so many listeners that have stopped by to shake hands, say hello. They're picking their apples. They're picking all their produce. Rick Federici, Craig Tepke live here, AM 1420. The music's going. You got the nice hay rides. You've got the horse rides. You've got all kinds of delectables, not only here but at the store. Obviously, with you being here, and while you got the mass of thousands listening right now, talk to the people about yourself and what's going on with Ken Layton, because, you know, we're offering equal time today to any of the candidates. That only if you show up, not if you call. You got to show up, and Ken did it and Keith did it. So let's hear a little bit about it.
You know, what can I say? I've been the most fortunate man in LaPorte County's history. I've been able to serve the citizens of this county as their sheriff. I served the citizens as their auditor. Currently serving finishing up my term as the treasurer, and put my name on the ballot to run for the county commission seat. I just think that I have the credentials that it would take to make a good commissioner for this county.
So when folks are doing their own voting in early November, on November 4th to be exact, are they punching anything specifically, or are they just thinking Layton, Ken Layton?
I hope that the citizens of this county don't punch anything specifically. I hope that they go through the ballot, that they look at all the candidates. Let's face it, there's good candidates on both sides of the ticket. There's some good libertarian candidates. There's some independents that's on there. Look at the people. Look at the people that signed their name to run for the various offices of government, federal, state, county, local. Everybody deserves to be looked at and either awarded with the vote or not awarded with the vote on their own merit. Not just one. One party doesn't have the answer for everything.
Well, you know what? That's spoken like a true gentleman here, because we feel the same way. I always tell folks, I don't belong to any party. I vote for the best candidate. That includes the presidency and whatever locally. I vote. I look at all the different candidates, and I'm like, I'm not a Dem. I'm not a Republican. I'm not an independent. I'm voting for this guy, whoever it may be, Ken Layton, because A, B, and C. Yeah. And I believe in that.
You know, I'm sure that everybody has their own visions, you know, for LaPorte County. Mine, credibility and accountability. I think that, you know, the people expect the best out of their servants, and we shouldn't give them anything less than the best that we have. And if I may make a little plug here, on October the 25th, the Republican candidates are all going to be at George and Ruby's restaurant in Michigan City at 9th and Tennessee.
I love that little place, man. It's a hidden treasure.
Everything is free. George putting on a breakfast buffet in there, and it's going to be absolutely wonderful. We just ask the people to come out and meet us. You know, ask us anything that you want to ask us. You may not like what you hear as the answer, but at least it'll be truthful from the person that you're talking to at the time.
Nice. Well, listen, I totally appreciate you coming out today. Thank you so much. Obviously, it's a gorgeous day. We're going to be out here for the next several hours. So keep up the great work. And it's nice to hear about, you know, your experience, because a lot of people that are out there, even the young voters, we spoke with some of them today. A lot of the young voters aren't familiar with, you know, someone like yourself, maybe because, you know, they're not into it, but they're thinking about it now, because maybe it's their first time voting, and they're thinking, you know, who should I vote for and why? And, you know, the war, and there's so many things with the economics and the challenges.
I appreciate the opportunity that you give me here today to speak on the air. And I was listening to your program coming in here. I think 3 out of 4 people, or groups of people that you interviewed when I was on my way here, were not from LaPorte County. That is amazing to me. You know, 2 groups of people. The Girl Scouts, I believe, was from Chicago area. You know, that speaks well of LaPorte County, in my opinion.
See, I'm all about it, because I brought my one daughter, Carly, and her boyfriend, Tyler, and we have some other family and friends. Johnny brought his family, and we brought with us, Craig as well, we brought with a mass amount of people. They're at the store, they're playing football, they're picking. It is a family bonding moment here. It's just cool. No matter where you're from, this is neat. We had a lot of online people going, hey, we listen to you downtown Chicago after we leave the area, right. South Shore. You know, we're bringing a whole bunch of family in. Really nice.
Family bonding that you talked about. I know the Garwoods personally. 6 generations on this farm. 6 generations of Garwoods. Absolutely phenomenal.
Well, it's good. Well, enjoy the tunes today, and thanks so much for popping out. We do appreciate it.
Very much.
Thank you so much, and the best of luck, Mr. Layton. Thank you so much.